The year is 1888. The vast, sun-baked plains of the American frontier stretched endlessly, a land of both breathtaking beauty and brutal hardship. In a secluded valley, miles from the nearest dusty outpost, lay the humble farm of Elara Vance. Her life was a rhythm of quiet resilience, tending a small, struggling herd, coaxing a meager harvest from the unyielding soil, and maintaining the sturdy but weathered cabin her late husband Thomas had built. A quiet woman of 35, Elara carried the unspoken weight of loss, her days marked by the absence of her beloved, whose untimely death had left her alone against the wilderness. Her only companions were her loyal dog, a grizzled shepherd, named Rusty, and a deep, guarded silence. Yet beneath her quiet demeanor lay a core of unbreakable strength, a spirit forged in the fires of frontier life. Her most cherished possession, a heavy, well-maintained shotgun, always hung within reach above the fireplace, a silent promise of defense. One scorching summer afternoon, as the air hung heavy and still, a distant rumble on the horizon broke. The pervasive quiet. It wasn't thunder, it was the rhythmic thud of approaching hooves. Elara, her senses sharpened by years of isolation, instinctively knew trouble was brewing. A notorious gang of outlaws, led by the ruthless Silas the Serpent, Blackwood, had been terrorizing the county. Blackwood, a man with a reputation for cold-blooded efficiency and a cruel smirk, was known for preying on isolated homesteads, leaving nothing but ruin in his wake. As the riders drew closer, their silhouettes against the setting sun like harbingers of doom. Elara's heart pounded, but her gaze remained steady. This wasn't just a threat to her livelihood. It was a direct challenge to her very survival. The outlaws descended upon her farm like a swarm of locusts, their shouts echoing across the quiet valley. Blackwood, his face a mask of predatory amusement, dismounted with a swagger, his eyes raking over the farm. He expected an easy target, a lone woman surely terrified and helpless, but as Elara emerged from her cabin, shotgun held firmly, her eyes holding a glint of defiance, a flicker of surprise crossed Blackwood's face. This wasn't the trembling victim he'd anticipated. The confrontation was stark, Elara a solitary figure against a band of hardened criminals. The air crackled with tension, the silence broken only by the snorting of horses and the metallic click of a shotgun being cocked. Blackwood, amused by her initial defiance, underestimated her, seeing only a woman and not the warrior within. He didn't know about the secret Elara guarded, a secret that would prove far more dangerous to him than any firearm. The sun beat down relentlessly, baking the dusty earth of Elara Vance's farm. The confrontation hung heavy in the air, a standoff between raw malevolence and quiet, simmering defiance. Silas Blackwood, his eyes narrowing, barked an order to his men to disarm her. Elara, her hands steady, raised the shotgun, its twin barrels glinting in the harsh light. "Take one more step." Her voice, though quiet, was steel. "And you'll be the first to taste buckshot." The outlaws hesitated, surprised by her resolve. Blackwood, unwilling to risk a direct confrontation just yet, laughed, a cold, humorless sound. "Feisty, aren't you, little lady? We'll see how long that lasts." He ordered his men to cordon off the farm, cutting off any escape or help, intending to wear her down. The days that followed were a grueling test of will and nerve. The outlaws circled the farm like vultures, their presence a constant psychological siege. They tried intimidation tactics, firing shots into the air, burning a section of her fence, poisoning her small well, which Elara, anticipating, had already diverted, relying on a hidden, purer spring. Each attempt to break her spirit was met with Elara's quiet, unyielding resistance. She rationed her food and water, conserved her ammunition, and most importantly, protected her secret. This secret was a hidden, reinforced root cellar beneath her cabin. a pre-planned survival bunker designed by her late husband for any major emergency. It contained emergency supplies, extra water, and a small, well-hidden cache of older, less common firearms and ammunition. A meticulous preparation that Blackwood couldn't possibly have known about. During one tense evening, a desperate ploy by the Outlaws forced Elara to act. They began to set fire to her barn, threatening to burn her livelihood to the ground. In a calculated risk, Elara revealed a glimpse of her hidden capability. From a blind spot, using an unexpected angle, she fired a single, precise shot from her shotgun, hitting a lantern held by one of the Outlaws, causing a minor explosion that scattered them. The shot, fired from an angle that seemed impossible, and the unexpected precision briefly unnerved Blackwood. He became aware that Elara possessed skills far beyond that of a simple farm wife, and that her defenses were more cunning than they appeared. His initial amusement began to curdle into frustration and a dangerous curiosity. He started to believe there was something more than just stubbornness driving her. Perhaps hidden wealth, or an unsuspected ally. This miscalculation, fueled by greed and underestimation, made him even more determined to break her, but also more reckless. Elara, exhausted but resolute, knew she had gained valuable time, but the true battle was far from over. The standoff escalated. Blackwood, now convinced Elara was hiding something valuable, grew more aggressive. His men began to systematically dismantle her farm, tearing down fencing, driving off her few remaining cattle, and even attempting to breach the cabin walls, testing her defenses. Elara, inside her fortified home, used her knowledge of the terrain and her keen senses to counter their moves. She would fire warning shots from unexpected windows, set small, harmless booby traps like tripwires that sent pots clattering, creating noise and confusion, and move silently through her property, a phantom defending her home. She was a master of psychological warfare, making the Outlaws believe the farm was haunted, or that she had more help than she did. The continuous pressure began to take its toll, not just on Elara, but on Blackwood's men. The sheer stubbornness of one woman, combined with the mysterious nature of her defenses, started to fray their nerves. Arguments erupted among them, some muttered about bad luck or a curse. Blackwood, however, only grew more furious, his obsession with finding Elara's secret blinding him to the growing dissent within his own ranks. His methods became increasingly brutal, aimed at breaking Elara's spirit through exhaustion and fear. One sweltering night, a young outlaw, barely more than a boy, was sent by Blackwood to infiltrate the farm. He managed to slip through Elara's outer defenses, only to be caught by her, not in a hail of gunfire, but in a silent, precise maneuver. Instead of killing him, Elara saw the fear in his young eyes, the desperation that had driven him to a life of crime. She tended to a minor injury he sustained, her hands surprisingly gentle. In that moment, a flicker of humanity passed between them. She knew the boy was a victim of circumstance, not true malice. She offered him a stark choice: return to Blackwood and face his wrath, or slip away into the night, never to return. She didn't offer a path to salvation, only a chance at escape. The boy, stunned by her unexpected mercy, made his choice. He left, disappearing into the darkness, a silent, unspoken pact formed in the crucible of desperation. His departure, though unnoticed by Blackwood, marked the first crack in the gang's unity, a testament to Elara's ability to sow doubt and division even among her enemies. Elara, exhausted but resolute, knew her secret had not been fully revealed, but the seeds of discord had been planted, setting the stage for a more direct and dangerous confrontation. The tension on Elara Vance's farm reached its breaking point. Barnaby Finch, his patience worn thin, decided on a final, overwhelming assault. he rallied his demoralized men, promising them a share of the hidden treasure he now believed Elara guarded. He ordered them to set fire to the entire cabin, intending to smoke her out or burn her alive, convinced that the sheer scale of the inferno would break her. As the outlaws doused the cabin walls with oil, the dry timber greedily absorbed it, the air thick with the smell of kerosene and impending destruction. Inside, Elara knew this was the end of her silent defense. This was the moment. She quickly moved to the concealed entrance of her secret root cellar, a masterfully hidden passage beneath the cabin's floorboards, designed to be imperceptible from above. As the first flames licked at the walls, she descended into the cool, dark earth, taking with her only her shotgun, her faithful dog Rusty, and a heavy, leather-bound journal. The cabin roared to life, a blazing pyre against the twilight sky. Blackwood, watching the inferno, grinned, believing he had finally broken her. But then, from an unexpected point beneath the burning cabin, a faint but clear sound emerged. A single, precise shotgun blast, then another. The shots came from below ground, striking two of Blackwood's men with stunning accuracy. Their surprised cries cut short. Panic erupted among the outlaws. They saw no one, only smoke and flames, yet men were falling. It was as if the very earth had turned against them. Blackwood, realizing the impossible, screamed, "She's underground! Find the entrance!" His men frantically searched, but the hidden cellar entrance was meticulously disguised. As the cabin burned above, Elara, using her knowledge of the underground, passages Thomas had dug years ago to escape a past Indian attack, maneuvered beneath the farm. She emerged through a separate camouflaged exit point several yards away, hidden by thick brush. Her face smudged with soot, her eyes burning with resolve, she moved with the stealth of a phantom, using the chaos of the burning cabin as cover. From this new vantage point, she began to pick off the remaining outlaws, using surprise and her superior knowledge of the terrain. The desperate, confused cries of Blackwood's dwindling gang filled the night. Finally, only Blackwood remained, his face contorted with rage and disbelief. He saw Elara, silhouetted against the roaring flames of her burning home, her shotgun now pointed steadily at him. "You thought you had me," she stated, her voice hoarse but unwavering, "but you never understood this land, or what a woman will do to protect what's hers." He charged, a desperate, final attempt, but Elara was ready. A single, decisive blast from her shotgun ended the siege. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the crackle of the dying flames. The secret that saved her wasn't magic, but meticulous preparation, ingenuity, and the unyielding will to survive. The dawn that broke over Elara Vance's farm was bathed in the mournful orange glow of embers. Her cabin was a smouldering ruin, the air thick with the scent of smoke and the grim aftermath of conflict. Yet in the silence, a profound sense of triumph settled over the valley. The notorious Blackwood gang was no more, their bodies scattered, their reign of terror ended by one lone woman. News of Elara's impossible defense spread like wildfire through the county, captivating everyone. Sheriff Brody, arriving with a small posse, found not a helpless victim, but a survivor whose courage had reshaped the very landscape of local justice. He saw the remains of the secret root cellar, the ingenious passages, and understood the true depth of Elara's resilience. The county, once plagued by fear and lawlessness, began to breathe again. Elara, though having lost her home, had gained something invaluable, the unwavering respect and gratitude of every man, woman, and child. But her influence was destined to extend far beyond mere gratitude. Sheriff Brody, recognizing her extraordinary, tactical mind and her profound understanding of the frontier's unique challenges, sought her counsel. He began to consult her on matters of defense, land security, and even conflict resolution. Elara, initially hesitant, slowly embraced this unexpected role. With her tactical genius and her deep knowledge of the land, a knowledge honed by years of solitary survival and the lessons learned from her late husband, Elara began to propose practical, effective solutions for community defense. She spearheaded the creation of a volunteer militia, training local farmers and ranchers in defensive tactics, organizing watch rotations, and establishing a communication network that could alert the entire county to threats. She taught them how to fortify their homes effectively, how to identify weak points, and how to work together as a cohesive unit. This initiative, born from her personal ordeal, transformed Willow Creek and the surrounding settlements from vulnerable targets into resilient, self-reliant communities. The legacy of Elara Vance was not just the defeat of a notorious outlaw, it was the birth of a more secure, self-sufficient frontier. Her story became a legend, whispered around campfires and told to wide-eyed children, the tale of the quiet widow who, armed with a shotgun and a remarkable secret, not of treasure but of prepared survival, single-handedly changed the fate of a county. She never rebuilt her cabin exactly as it was, choosing instead to focus on the community. The new town hall in Willow Creek, a sturdier, more fortified structure, often saw Elara offering quiet advice from its doorway, a testament to the enduring power of her spirit. The sun still set in a blaze of glory over the frontier, but now it cast long, hopeful shadows over a land where a woman's courage had forged a new path for all.